There's a sudden drop in the stock market this week as the Senate has decided to adjourn. And of course, we have no stimulus deal, which is a complete and utter disaster as more municipalities are considering shutdowns due to coronavirus spikes. Now, that has definitely triggered a sell-off. We're seeing it in real time this week. And on top of that, the unemployment rate is still high. The economic situation, which Trump likes to cite as his success, is a complete and utter disaster. The Dow Jones Industrial Average fell by more than 600 points on Monday, an approximately 2.3% drop, one of the largest single-day declines on the year. After a smaller dip Tuesday, the Dow had declined by more than 800 points by midday Wednesday. Now, if you've been following the stock market, which if you haven't been, I don't blame you. Most Americans aren't even invested in the stock market. But nonetheless, if you've been paying attention throughout Trump's presidency, the markets have been incredibly volatile. So you might see a huge spike in the markets and maybe your 401k is doing well. And then all of a sudden, you see this massive dip. And again, it is related to the fact that our federal government has been feckless. There has been a lack of leadership when it comes to coronavirus. We're seeing a massive spike in new coronavirus cases, 500,000 new cases last week alone. More than, or roughly 225,000 Americans have died during this pandemic. And so yeah, investors are a little, skeptical about what's gonna happen in the near future. And so the unemployment rate is at 7.9%. Remember, even in this weird, twisted system where the Federal Reserve bails out companies, banks, corporations, you still need consumers to spend money, and they can't do that if they have no money. And so that's what's impacting the stock market, which is probably why Trump hasn't really talked about how awesome the stock market is this week. And we'll see how this goes, but we're not gonna get stimulus before the election.
Nope, their priorities were made very clear. We had very good reason to have been able to predict how that was going to work out. As I said on my show this morning, the thing that bothers me perhaps even more, because it's more surprising than Mitch McConnell not caring about what's gonna happen when people don't get this aid, is him being locked in a re-election battle. And so many of the Republican senators that he needs to win to maintain his grip on the majority are locked in these re-election battles. And he does not think that he needs to do anything or even really pretend to be doing anything. He thinks he's gonna be fine. He thinks the Republicans are gonna be just fine.
Well, he thinks the Republicans are gonna be just fine because he set the stage to steal the election. Let's not even mince words about it. He has 3 Supreme Court justices right now who helped George Bush steal the election in 2000. Donald Trump has been questioning the validity of mail-in ballots even as he and his children have voted by mail.
Yeah.
He has dismantled the post office as much as he possibly could before federal judges had to step in and re-implement the use of mail sorting machines and all sorts of things that had been decommissioned under Louis DeJoy, a Trump loyalist and crony. I mean, he has set the stage to steal it. There's no question. And the statements from Brett Kavanaugh yesterday are terrifying, where he essentially says that the election needs to be called on the day of the election, even if ballots have not been counted yet. So Mitch McConnell knows that he's good. Donald Trump knows that he's good. They are setting the stage to steal this election. And I don't know what the appropriate commentary is other than it's infuriating and it sometimes feels incredibly hopeless. Like, it's happening right in front of us. Like, what do you do? I don't know what to do.
I mean, try to make people aware of how important these things are, what little they can do at the state level to try to ward these things off in the future. Like, in the states where you can vote for judges, that's important. Taking control of state legislatures to have some sort of impact on that in terms of the state Supreme Courts can be important too. At the end of the day, for a long time, unless the court is reformed, there's always gonna be the chance that even if state level Supreme Courts are reformed in a way that they care a little bit more about voting rights, they can always be overridden by the Supreme Court. I don't know, we're talking about it. That's sort of what we have with our platform, but it's very disheartening.
But The important story to cover today is what Joe Babaduchki had to say about Hunter Biden in Ukraine. I don't care. Like, I get it. In any other normal administration, yeah, let's look at what could potentially be sketchy with Hunter Biden. But let's have some priorities as well, okay? Let's do a little comparative analysis here. American taxpayers are getting robbed by Donald Trump, who's funneling money into his own businesses. We're not getting another round of stimulus. And yes, there are failures among Democrats and Nancy Pelosi with regard to the lack of stimulus, the lack of financial help that Americans need right now. But don't get it twisted. The Senate GOP looked at a $500 billion stimulus package and they're like, no, too much, we don't like it. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell is like, nah, I'm not really interested in passing stimulus, don't care about it at all. All I care about is ensuring that we speed through the confirmation of Amy Coney Barrett into the Supreme Court. Yeah, priorities. I get it. Hunter Biden working on the board of Burisma, not a good look, don't like it. But let's do a comparative analysis. Yeah. Our democracy is under threat. I don't like hyperbole, but we're seeing it happen right in front of us right now, at this very moment.
Yeah, we're sort of waiting to see what's going to happen in terms of potentially just like calling the election the night of, stopping the count of votes and all that. But even if that doesn't happen, it's not like we got through without anything really horrifying in terms of voting rights, the state of our democracy. Whether it's state Supreme Courts or the overall Supreme Court, they've gone back and forth, and in the end, some states are going to be limited, like Texas, to one drop-off point for these ballots, specifically to make it as difficult as possible to vote. If you, through no fault of your own, mailed in your ballot and it doesn't make it there in time in Wisconsin, they've decided, no, we're not gonna count that. We know that Donald Trump and Louis DeJoy have spent all this year trying to make it so that the mail will be inefficient. And we like that plan, we're going to help that along. That's already been done. We're sort of speculating about what's gonna happen on election night after election day, but they've been doing all of this stuff now for weeks.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.